I just got accepted to a veterinary school, and I am very excited and nervous. My partner and I have decided that buying a house would be a good investment for when we move to this school in the fall. But there are some barriers in the way. He has hardly any credit, and I have struggled with poor credit for my entire adult life. When I went to university for the first time in 2016, I took out student loans that I have not yet paid. They are deferred because I am currently a student, so it's not a huge deal. I have also been told that a medical bill has been dinging my credit, which I thought was a late payment on a medical expense, $40, that entitled mother promised to pay for when I had just turned 18. I knew that she paid late, and there were many arguments about it back then, so I just figured the late payment was staining my credit. However, the housing lender told me that there is an outstanding bill for $1,000 that has gone to collections and has been dinging my credit since 2017. I called the collection agency and learned that the original bill was for $700 for a psychiatrist that entitled mother insisted that I see, and again, promised to pay for. Additionally, my health insurance at the time was my father's responsibility, so it was explained to me that they were to work out the expenses amongst themselves. When I brought this to her attention, she got frustrated and insisted that it was some mistake made by the insurance company. I requested that she take it up with the insurance company because I was not at all involved in the process of picking the psychiatrist, understanding my insurance coverage, making payments for these services, etc. If I weren't so busy with work, school, moving, etc., then I usually would do it myself, but I just don't have the knowledge or time at the moment to do something like that. As entitled mothers often do, there was a vague maybe when I get around to it, which is basically a passive-aggressive no. I have been denied for apartments, couldn't sign up for my own Wi-Fi, couldn't finance a car, mine's literal dog poo, have paid high signing costs with apartments that would take me, and probably more because of this credit issue. I cannot express the amount of distress and frustration this has caused me, and now it's going to impact my ability to get a home loan. There was no apology, no ownership, not even any acknowledgement that her mistake has impacted me in any way. I am beyond frustrated, but decided that what's done is done and there's no sense fighting about it. Entitled mother is infatuated with the idea that I'm buying a house and started sending me all these 3-bedroom homes for around $150,000 on Zillow. When I told her that we were looking for 2-bedroom homes at around $100,000, she absolutely lost her mind and aggressively insisted that I have a room for her to stay in while she visits. When I told her that this probably wouldn't be possible, she hit me with a, "You'll find a way." Again, I decided not to fight about it and changed the subject because ultimately the decision is up to me. When the lender asked how much gift money I might receive, I reached out to entitled mother to get a number for the lender. She has already stated that she wants to help wherever she can, but when this came up, immediately jumped into victim mode, stating that she lives paycheck to paycheck and that I can't just keep visiting the bank of mom when I need something. I have paid for all of my own school up to this point and plan to finance vet school through loans. So maybe this has to do with the groceries she bought me a month ago. Who the duck knows? She also just bought a new designer dog, a car, replaced carpets on one floor of her house with wood, and recarpeted the other 2 floors of her massive house. Doesn't sound like paycheck to me. Yet again, decided the fight wasn't worth it and dropped the issue. Basically, I'm at my wit's end with this. I don't know how to address it. I don't know how to solve any of these problems, and I can't afford to keep losing sleep over it. I'm just ready to move away into a home without a spare bedroom. Edit. I almost forgot one of the funniest pieces to all of this. When I told her that the medical bill was from 2017, her best advice was, just don't pay it. It'll fall off your credit in 2 years anyways. Negotiate a payment plan to pay off the $1,000. Talk with them to see if you can reduce the $300 in interest and fees. Expect no help from your mother because she's not going to change. You and your partner may need to stay in an apartment for a year or so to save money. I know it's disappointing, but it will be worth it when you purchase your house without money mongrel mama in the picture. Buy your 2-bedroom house, don't give her the address, and keep on with vet school. Good luck. Before you accept any money from your mom for a house, talk to a real estate attorney. In some places, that would entitle your mom to a part of your proceeds when you sell. You need to be very careful with that and understand the laws before you accept anything from her. Her money will come with strings, but I think you already know that. If you don't want to be her retirement plan, don't take her money and don't have a guest room, because I can guarantee that if she's irresponsible with paying your past medical bills, she's most likely irresponsible with her current savings and retirement accounts. I'm in a really tense situation with my husband of 3 years. I feel that it could have been resolved so quickly if he just apologized about this, But instead, he keeps doubling down. And I'm really lost at this point. It started over the weekend when I was using his phone. He has the newest iPhone, to take pictures of our apartment. When I was sending the photos to my email, I saw the TikToks. They were of my younger sister. She uploaded the videos of her breastfeeding. In the video, her breasts and face are completely visible. If you are asking why she uploads videos like that, I have told her it wasn't the best idea, but she doesn't care, and that she is supporting women's right to breastfeed. I was mad with my husband. I confronted him, asking him why does he have these videos saved. He is like, what's wrong with them? He starts saying that my sister uploaded these videos to a public platform, and there is nothing wrong with saving them. I am like, are you attracted to her? He is like, no, he finds it interesting. He said that he isn't attracted to Oprah, but if there was a video of her breastfeeding, he would download it too. He then starts bringing up that when I went to Vegas, I went to the Thunder Down Under show. This was a bachelorette party, not mine, and says that is way worse since that was in person. I was like, no, I went with my friends, but that it's not fair to bring it up now. It was a while back, and that he is distracting from our situation at hand. He says that I had no business looking through his phone in the first place, that he shares his location with me, that I have the passcode and password to all of his devices and accounts, that I invaded his privacy. I was like, this isn't about you cheating, it's about you creeping on my sister. He says that breastfeeding isn't something to creep on, and that I am making this weird because I am the one sexualizing my sister. He says that I need to just stop, that my reaction to this is the biggest problem. I don't know what to do here. I feel really uncomfortable about this whole situation. I feel that if I talk to anyone about this for advice, it would damage my husband's reputation permanently. Am I making too big a deal of this situation? Like, should I just drop it? I don't want things to get worse for us. We have already been in a tense place since my husband lost a lot of money on tech stocks. So, he is equating Thunder Down Under with breastfeeding TikToks of your sister. Interesting. What you did was not worse. What he did is not normal, and now he is gaslighting you. You should be upset at the fact that he is saving video of your much younger sister breastfeeding. You should stay away from him, and definitely keep him away from your sister. Tell your family exactly what he did, and why you are leaving him. We recently threw my 5-year-old a birthday party. He hasn't had a real birthday party since he was 2 years old due to virus, so this was the first one he'd actually remember. We wanted to make it special, so we invited all our closest friends, family members, and their kids. One of my cousins, a single mom, has a very unruly 6-year-old. He is loud, disobedient, and a nightmare in public. When it came time to blow out the candles and cut the birthday cake, he came and stood directly next to my son. I anticipated what was going to happen next and asked my husband to stand behind this kid in case he tried to pull anything. After we sang, this kid kept trying to blow out the candles. My husband kept blocking him and pulling him back, and we could all tell the kid was getting frustrated. Eventually, my son blew out the candles, and the kid absolutely lost it. He threw a tantrum and slammed his entire arm into the cake, knocking it onto the table. It was so awkward. Everyone gasped and got quiet. My son looked up at us, and I could tell he was about to start crying. In an effort not to cause a bigger scene, my husband picked him up and whispered to him that we had another special cake just for him. We didn't, and he seemed to calm down. Meanwhile, his cousin was still standing there screaming and crying, his arm covered in cake. His mom was nowhere to be seen. I walked him over to the sink and washed him off and quietly told him that he shouldn't have done that to the cake and that he should apologize to his cousin for what he did. He screamed, "No!" in my face and then ran away. My husband ended up running out to buy a sheet cake that we cut and served to everyone. I spoke to my cousin after the party about what happened, since she wasn't in the room, and she brushed it off, saying, "Kids will be kids." I completely disagree. I've been to plenty of other birthday parties where the other kids let the boy, girl, have their moment. I suggested she pay for the ruined cake, and she looked at me like I was crazy. I told her how important it was to us that this birthday be special to my son, since it would be the first one he remembered, and now all he would remember was that his cousin ruined his special moment. She got extremely defensive and refused to pay for anything. She then accused me of acting like the perfect mom and began to list the ways in which I was in fact not perfect. It was a hurtful conversation, and we haven't spoken since. I sent her the bill for the ruined cake, and she has not paid us. I actually feel she should pay for both cakes since her kid is the reason we had to get a new one, but I didn't go that far. My husband thinks she'll never pay us and that I should drop the issue at this point. He says that since she's a single mom, it's probably hard on her, and we should cut them both some slack. I understand that, but I feel like that's just letting her and her son off the hook, and this will lead to even bigger problems in the future if we don't hold them accountable. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole, but you'll never get your money, and I think you made your point. The kid is a jerk because the parent is a jerk. No longer invite them to any parties and enjoy your immediate family because they seem nice. Not the a-hole, but obviously she's not going to pay for the cake. Don't invite her to any more occasions or events and just write her off. Her son is going to have massive problems in the future no matter what. It's not your responsibility, nor do you even have the ability to prevent that. Hounding her about paying for the cake isn't going to make any difference at all, except make both of you feel more anger and resentment. Believe me, when your son is older, he's going to remember, "Oh yeah, I remember that a-hole cousin Joe ruined my cake that year. I wonder if he's out of jail yet." My older sister, Pam, and her second husband, Jerry, not real names, have custody of Jerry's 5 grandchildren. Jerry's son and daughter-in-law are currently serving prison terms for a white-collar crime. The children range in age from 15 down to 5. Pam had 2 daughters from her first marriage. I was very involved in my nieces' lives while growing up. My husband and I don't have any children, and we often took the girls together and separately on trips, amusement parks, camping, age-appropriate concerts, and other things. The girls were close in age and had similar interests, so it made things easy to take them places together. Unfortunately, the younger of my nieces died in an automobile accident when she was 18. The older niece now lives over 1,000 miles away, so we don't see her or her child very often. At a recent family gathering, one of Jerry's youngest grandchildren came up and asked me when I was going to take her and her siblings to Disney World. I told her she must have me mistaken for another person, because I wasn't going to Disney World, so I wouldn't be taking her and her siblings there. She ran off to Pam and started to cry. Later, Pam and Jerry asked to speak with my husband and I privately. They wanted to know why we don't take Jerry's grandchildren on trips like we used to take my nieces. Turns out, they had told the children that we would take them all to Disney World sometime. Needless to say, my husband and I were shocked. We never took my nieces to Disney World. Most of our trips with them were in our home state or the neighboring states. Plus, we were younger and there were only 2 of them, so we could keep up with them rather easily. Not to mention the cost of taking 2 children is much less than taking 5. My husband and I have been cutting back on expenses and expenditures because we don't know what will happen with the economy, and we don't want to jeopardize our own retirement plans. Also, we are basically strangers to Jerry's grandchildren. We didn't meet any of them until Pam and Jerry took custody of them last year, and this family gathering was the first time we met all 5 of them. Jerry said that they expected us to take the grandchildren on trips like we had taken Pam's daughters when they were children, because we had no grandchildren, just like we didn't have children. So we should be happy to have this opportunity to play like we have grandchildren. When we said we would pass on this opportunity because of the reasons mentioned above, and these are Jerry's grandchildren, and in no way related to either my husband or myself, Jerry blew up and called us selfish and said they had expected us to help out when they took custody of the children, and he stormed off. The classic, "You have no children, so we expect that you take responsibility for the kids we have." With the way Jerry is acting, might as well be 6 children. One thing is suggesting you all do an activity together so they have something to look forward to. But the entitlement of demanding you spend time with them and doing something as expensive as Disney World, what the duck? No. Their kids, their problem. Sucks to suck, but let the kids cry. It's not your responsibility. People are so freaking weird. You don't know these children. You have no relationship with these children. They are not even your family. Tell Jerry to take his own grandchildren to Disney World.